You know, I was thinking, competition demands that when one company does something very well, the consumer reacts accordingly, meaning, hey, I'm going to buy your crap. And the other company is like, hey, I want some of that money. I'm going to do some good crap too. Buy mine as well. There's great services out there like Xbox Game Pass, right? Well, Sony have decided to throw their hat into the arena with PlayStation Premium, which literally gets mauled in the corner. It's in a casket already. It's a rebrand of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, but almost worse, because this was their opportunity to try to compete with Game Pass, and they have failed to do so. I mean, seriously, there's no day and date in this service. The fans don't even ask for better. I mean, they're happy with this. And that's why this video is sponsored by trash-ass PlayStation Premium. Link to the fake video sponsor not down below. And also, hey, if you're here, this actually isn't what the video's about. It's actually about all the latest and greatest Xbox topics. Yeah, we're talking about updates that enhance the performance of Xbox Series X and S, as well as new games and more. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hit the like button if you end up liking this video, and of course, let's get into all of the latest topics. Speaking of Xbox Game Pass, Xbox have big plans to release big games every single quarter in the future, according to Phil Spencer. Yes, CEO of all gaming at Microsoft, formerly Xbox boss Phil Spencer, did speak out recently about their plans for future game releases. Phil says that we do have a lot of great games in development, but we want to get to a place where we have a steady flow of great games coming. And well, yeah, he goes on to talk about how they don't have a big game this quarter and how Matt Booty and the team want to get to a place where they can really have a good on-ramp to get games out consistently, and that would be good because that's what we need. Yes, we just got Halo and Forza, several months back, but ultimately, he wants to release a game, a quality game like those, every single quarter, at least one. At the end of the day, when you have over 8,742,057 studios at your disposal, like Microsoft do now, you would think you would get at least one every quarter, minimum. I included this topic because there are a lot of people that ask me about where these games are. They bought studios years ago. We've still not seen gameplay from almost any of them, and it's a very real thing that people are thinking about. This is basically Phil's way of addressing it. He knows they're behind. He knows they need to get on task, and he wants to bring those games out at a more consistent clip with a good degree of quality as well. So while I agree and applaud the statement, like many of you, I would also agree with and applaud some actual gameplay footage from some of these studios that Microsoft bought years ago. Let me know what you think of Phil's comments here and how he does address the lack of games quarterly like they would like to have. Honestly, I like this kind of transparency, and ultimately, I think that Starfield kicks it off this year. After that point, we should be pretty golden, right? Should be, please. Oh, real quick, Warhammer Darktide just got a release date on Xbox and PC for September 13th, 2022. If you're curious about the other games that they've made, try out the Warhammer Vermintide series. Vermintide 2, it's a great 4-player co-op experience, and obviously, as you see on screen, it looks pretty dang good too. And guess what? Games like this are only going to get substantially better looking as time goes, thanks to Microsoft updating the Xbox Series consoles with brand new features like FSR 2.0. Now, longtime subscribers know that I've been talking about Xbox Series X, the power that it would bring, the features that it would bring, all of the new, cool, exciting, next-generation gaming things that this thing is going to do. Well, I've been talking about it for quite a while. Unfortunately, Microsoft decided to do something I did not foresee. They decided to change over their entire development ecosystem over to something called GDK. And of course, because some people don't read or can't seek out the actual fact of the matter when it comes to this stuff, here.
Sony kind of stuck to what worked, and their sort of development software and tools were like pretty stable and good pretty early on. And this is one of the things that people don't really see, like all of these impact like the performance that the consumer gets. And Microsoft opted to change quite a lot of things. Which on the long run are probably good, but of course it's just a bigger hurdle for us devs early on to kind of like, we got to rewrite a bunch of different things to really take advantage of specific features. And that's not like a huge negative or anything. It's just what software development is like. But maybe that explains some of the things, like it's just numbers. Like ultimately, like the tools and everything just matters so much more, and how all of that is brought together matters so much more than just purely the purely the numbers.
So as confirmed here by this developer, on top of having to learn a new developer environment, the tools and drivers were just not up to snuff on the Xbox at that time. According to Digital Foundry, as well as some of my developer friends, they say, well, this situation continues to improve to this day. But here's the main thing holding back Xbox Series X. It's the fact that 99% of studios right now are not utilizing RDNA 2 features, well, really at all. Velocity architecture, mesh shaders, there's so many things that the system has, but hey, at least they are utilizing FSR 2.0. Or at least, let's hope they do. AMD says its frame rate boosting FSR 2.0 is also headed to Xbox and these NVIDIA graphics cards. Last week, AMD promised a new technology that should let you blow up your games to higher resolutions or higher frame rates without requiring the fancy machine learning hardware of NVIDIA's GPUs. It's finally revealed how the new Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0 works, and it's also coming to next-generation Xbox consoles. To be clear, AMD say that it will be fully supported on Xbox and will be available in the Xbox GDK for developers, registered developers, to utilize. Think of this technology as some kind of extremely smart checkerboarding or reconstruction technology. Developers can utilize this to effectively double their frame rates or resolutions at pretty much no performance cost. While these higher resolutions would not be native, they are extremely convincing, like modern-day checkerboarding. Through this method, you are spending about half the performance you would if you were running this image natively, while maintaining very similar, if not sometimes better somehow, image quality. Again, software is always going to be more important than the hardware. That's why 2013 Xbox One games looked nothing like 2020 Xbox One games. Same box, same old hardware, but that software's come a lot farther, and there's very, very smart technologies like this in play. This is by far the most advanced version of any kind of software like this on a console, and I think from seeing all the data, all the real-world stuff going on, this isn't some kind of secret sauce. This just takes what developers have been doing over the past 10 years, makes it even better, refines it, and makes it more user-friendly, makes it applicable to most all game engines and developers pretty easily. It is now going to be available in the developer GDK, and I look forward to seeing this stuff being used, because a game that might be running at 1440p, 60 FPS on Series X can now run at what looks like what is perceived to be a native 4K 60 FPS. This technology alone comes at no cost to the hardware. As a matter of fact, it saves you on performance, and it effectively doubles your pixel count or the frame rate. Or maybe you don't want to do either and you want to put all that extra performance into something like ray tracing. Like I said years ago, this is one of the big keys to having ray tracing at 60 FPS at good resolutions. It frees up the hardware to do those things. This is just one example of technologies that just aren't being used right now on the hardware. And as a matter of fact, a lot of developers aren't even really using checkerboarding on the hardware right now. Even old checkerboarding they've been doing for 10 years. They are not bothering to do that on games like Dying Light or Guardians of the Galaxy or any of these other games that have needed a little boost. They've just not bothered to do a lot of that stuff. And I think it's just one of those times where developers are just trying to get some stuff out. It's been a rough period over the past year or so, and set it and forget it. Come back to it later maybe, but just get it out the window, get it out the door, and if people complain, maybe do something about it. Nonetheless, these games still look amazing, and FSR 2.0 looks to make them look even better, and hopefully sooner than later. One of the reasons I haven't really talked about this type of subject in quite a while, even though most of you have been asking me to do this, especially I of all people should be doing this, right? Well, yeah, I mean, they haven't delivered on the performance that was already in the box before features and software come along like this to make it even better. They have yet to leverage things in their own first-party games. I mean, Halo still doesn't have ray tracing. And at the end of the day, last thing I'm going to do is talk about more crap that they told us about and it's going to make the games look even better. I know it's there, but I'm not going to hype the stuff up. You still haven't even delivered in your own first-party games with things like ray tracing, especially in a game like Forza Horizon 5, where you could easily do ray tracing in the 60 FPS mode in Forza Vista. I mean, the game isn't even checkerboarded. And until you start leveraging your own box, I'm not in a rush to go and talk about brand new things that are going to make the Series X even more powerful, at least at every whim and every chance I get. Because again, until I start seeing that stuff, that's on them. I got to start seeing them start to get the most out of their own hardware. Halo still doesn't have ray tracing, and it wasn't going to have ray tracing last year before it got delayed. It got delayed a year. It still came out without it. It still don't have it. Explain that to me. I don't think anyone can. Let me know your thoughts on all that down below. Big Xbox fan, but again, you got to hold their feet to the fire and ask questions, regardless of their ability to come out and actually answer it, because they don't really say anything publicly about it. I've been told a few things behind the scenes. That stuff, I don't know. It's just crazy to think that stuff is that far out to where 2 years into the generation, a year and a half, you're still not using RDNA 2 features on your own games. That's crazy. Hey, I love what Series X is capable of. I know what it's capable of beyond what we're seeing. Everyone who knows anything about this stuff does. But at the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. This isn't the first time I've said it. It probably won't be the last. I'd like to see those features almost, a year and a half, 2 years in, not even being utilized by really anybody right now. How long is this generation going to be? 15 years? Average 8 to 10 years. You got a quarter of your generation going to go by before you see Hellblade 2 using all of these RDNA 2 features, right? So it's just kind of something interesting to think about. But regardless, the games look phenomenal using RDNA 2 features or not. I'd just like to see that Delta come through, and it is there. But again, hey, guys, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, of course. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.